Hello, this is Mikhail Tank. This is the Archetypal Mosaic in its 11th season. And this is going to be a mini show, basically my first impression about Waymo, the autonomous robo-taxi. This is a review off the cuff without any kind of paid supplementation. This is not an ad. Nobody is asking me to do this. So nobody is paying me to give an opinion, pro or con. I know that Waymo became available to the public in the San Francisco area this summer, and now it's October. I just wanted to do it now. I always like to wait a little bit, make sure that things are safe, and then try it. Of course, safety is relative, and this by no means is a safety ad for Waymo. This is simply my personal experience and has nothing to do with anybody else's. Although I do wish everybody safety. So I'm just gonna go, since it happened a few hours ago, and a lot of people have been asking me about it. So I didn't actually know it was so interesting until people started asking me, and I was like, well, let me just record my impression as I always do. Well, the first thing you need to do is download the Waymo One app. I got mine at the Apple App Store, but you can get it via your phone provider. So Waymo One, it's kind of like an app that has a green and blue W that looks kind of like a DNA strands to me. It's actually very easy to use, I would say. I connected my primary Gmail account, which is simply Mikhail Tank, to this app, and it takes Apple Pay, which is also very easy. And a lot of people have said, that it's very expensive. Expensive is relative, but I just want to say I took a short ride. I want to take it up a hill in the city, around Chinatown. I went to a friend's jade store. We were talking about jade, and then I tried this Eastern European restaurant, and I had a few errands, so I parked. It's really hard to park there. I wasn't actually even planning on doing this, but because I had to walk from the beginning of Chinatown to the end of Chinatown, I thought I don't want to go up the hill, and it's just a lot of walking. I already did a lot of walking going one direction. So here's the thing. First of all, the app, I'll start with the really positives, with the full positives, which is the app and the comfort of the seating in the vehicle. Those are the biggest pluses. There's also minuses. I'm going to get to them. So the app I like the coloration. It's kind of like a dark blue, kind of very easy on the eyes. Connects to your Gmail account, connects to your Apple Pay. The price. I just want to say this. So again, my trip was not very long. I didn't want to do the freeway or anything because I prefer to drive. But I think it was like a 9-minute ride, and I think they basically start around $9. I think everything starts, from my perception, around $8.50 or $9, somewhere like that's like the base price. You don't need to tip, so that kind of works out if you're, because it's a robo-taxi. But I guess you could. I guess you probably could tip. But anyway, since I was taking lots of taxis in Japan at some point, there was no tipping there either. So it's kind of all-inclusive. So, okay. So here's what happens. I went on the app for the first time. I connected my Gmail account. I connected the Apple Pay. The location that it figured out was not the precise location. I was next to a Eastern European restaurant, and it chose some location kind of elsewhere, close by. But that's not what I'm looking for. I needed to arrive near me. So it said about a 7-minute wait. And when it arrived, I was hoping it would arrive because I was standing on the side of the road where we needed to go up the hill. Instead, it arrived on a corner of the street where I couldn't see the car because I was to the right, and then it was on the corner to the left. So it arrived somewhere where I didn't know where it was, which is also not the best thing. I pressed the button that says track car. So it showed me an arrow, like a compass arrow, to walk towards. It gave me like 50 feet, 60 feet. I don't remember exactly what it said. So I saw the car, and what I liked next is the fact that it was basically like semi-parked on the street waiting for me, and it had my initials, MT, in its really cool kind of alarm-looking thing at the ceiling. So I thought that was kind of a nice, warm welcome. A lot of people were kind of just walking around it, taking pictures. And so I decided to sit in the back seat, in the back passenger seat on the right side. And because I really wanted to look at the whole situation and kind of experience it. I didn't want to sit behind the invisible driver, or rather the autonomous robo-taxi, because I wouldn't be able to see anything. And I didn't want to sit in the passenger seat because, I don't know, I just wanted to kind of experience it from as far as I could. So first what you need to do is you get a code on your app, and you put in the code so that the doors unlock. It's a Jaguar. They're Jaguars. This model is called Waymo 1, the first model that's autonomous for the public. So the doors unlock, and you get to choose where you want to sit. Of course, if you have several people, then you can all sit. And what I liked is the fact that it's very roomy inside. It's dark, clean, and roomy, which is very nice. You just kind of feel like you can just kind of fall into it. The roof is cool because it's got all the cameras and stuff, and it's kind of like a dark sunroof or a moonroof. And at least it looks like it. You can kind of see through it. So it feels really nice. It says, "Welcome, Mikhail," or whoever's going to ride there. And then it shows you the exact number of minutes. So here's what's going on there. Is first of all, it was rather slow. It's definitely slower than my driving. Not that I drive very fast. Second thing is, what I really didn't like is the fact that it made sharp, or for me, sharp turns. So when it was driving me, there were cars that appeared on the left of us. I don't know if it's us or me. It made this sharp right kind of turn to go on the right lane, and it was uncomfortable because that's not. I prefer smooth driving and smooth braking. I'm not a fan of sharp starts and stops and turns, so it was too sharp. And then the other thing is that whereas a normal driver would maybe make a left turn and move a few lanes, this did a very, very kind of safe protocol of, at least for me, by driving around almost like a taxi would, in the sense that it took longer than a regular car because it would kind of make, I wouldn't say it would make circles, but it kind of did make two circles, because it was always doing the right turn as opposed to a left turn. So it's kind of like figuring out the easiest right turn. At least that's what it did for me. Again, its reactions is what I did not like, because I like smooth reactions and fast reactions, awareness, and this made slow reactions and fast moves the opposite of what I naturally would want. Or at least everything, when I'm talking about fast and slow, it's subjective, of course, and second of all, it's milliseconds, so it's not like very slow. It's just slower than I feel comfortable with. The next thing I would say is when you get into the vehicle, it gives you kind of a really nice little welcome introduction. Not only about putting on your seatbelt, which of course is a must, but kind of tells you a little bit about the ride. So I found that to be charming. What I liked a lot, and what I didn't know was there, was I was hoping was there, is that you could stop it at any time. Of course, when it's safe to do so. And indeed, it had a pull over option, both in the vehicle and on your phone. So I'm really glad about that, because that's kind of like, the button to get out of the car. So after a while, I decided to press pull over because I wanted to see how it pulls over. So what it did was, so funny, is that it drove basically 2.5 to 3 blocks the opposite direction of where I needed to go, which was also not very intelligent. Because if I need to go the other way, why would it pull over the opposite direction? So anyway, it pulled over the opposite direction about 2.5 to 3 blocks away after I already pushed the thing. It said searching for safe drop-off spot, something of that nature. And I get it. Obviously safety is my priority too. However, if I was driving or somebody else was driving, there were probably 5 or 6 moments where it was safe to, there was no car behind, it was safe to kind of, at least for me to leave the vehicle. So I found that to be very slow too, and again, in the wrong direction. So those are the pluses and the minuses. I understand that as a autonomous, autopilot, automatic, auto car, it has to be more gracious, I think, than other drivers, simply because it has to be more cautious, which is great. And as a driver, driving near them, I appreciate that. I appreciate the extra caution, so that basically cars with drivers are kind of, because their decisions can change, Waymo kind of looks out for that. So I appreciate that as a driver. Being inside of it is a different story, because it's almost like you're in kind of like secondary to the decision making. And I think that in a wrong situation, because it's kind of like a beta behavior, it could be, I don't know, maybe not what I would prefer. So that's kind of like a off-the-cuff, multi-layered, very honest opinion of this. But I still think it's very, I have a kind of a dual feeling about it. I think like many people probably do. On one hand, it's a cool, almost like a Halloween ride, because it's almost like a ghost is driving you. It's perfect for October for me. But on the other hand, I definitely prefer driving, and I definitely prefer cars where I have control, because I really enjoy driving. I really enjoy being aware of what's going on and not allowing something to make decisions for me. Now, on the other hand, this is not a plug, but I do have a startup called Magatama AI. if you go to my website, mikhailtang.com or magatamaai.com, my whole purpose for the startup is really indeed the safety of humanity, the safety of people. So, in all of its forms. So, what's interesting is that Waymo does care. I can feel as a customer and as a driver outside of the vehicle, on both sides, that Waymo has taken the precautions of safety on both sides. So from the third perspective of my own startup, I approve. So I have at least three perspectives: as a driver near a Waymo, which I like; as a Magatama AI startup about safety, which I like; and then as a consumer being inside of a Waymo, which I only like as a kind of a fun thing, but not something I would rely on. It's just not my thing. But anyway, I hope that this kind of auto ramble, was helpful to some people to both decide if they want to do it and then how it actually works. So I wish all of you safety and enjoyment.